Republican North Texas Congressman Pat Fallon of the 4th Congressional District. Thank you so much. So what is your thought on the state of the speaker's race? I think this is the first time in 100 years that a speaker has not won on the first ballot.
Yeah, Jack, we are witnessing history, not the kind that I want to witness, but we are certainly there nonetheless. And this hasn't happened, as you said, in 100 years. And I'm a bit confused as to why it's happening, to be quite honest. There's 222 Republicans. We know that with only a 9-seat majority that we need to stay united, or we're not going to get anything accomplished. And there's a process to choose the speaker. The Democrats have a very similar process as Republicans do, which is we vote in the conference, which is the caucus of the 222 Republicans, and we choose a nominee. Because if you don't do it that way, you're going to have chaos when you get to the House floor. And we did that. And I always pledged to vote for the winner of the nomination process within our own caucus. I do that because I don't want to be like the Republicans in Pennsylvania yesterday that have a majority and ended up electing a Democratic speaker. I don't want to do that like we did in 2009, right before I got into the Texas legislature, and have 11 Republicans jump ship with 65 rather Democrats to make a majority. So Kevin McCarthy won that process, 188 votes to 31. And yet here we are, people that aren't happy with that decision and that process are now upsetting the apple cart.
So 3 members from Texas, including Keith South from our area, North Texas, voted against McCarthy. Have you spoken with him and Chip Roy? And I think it's Congressman McLeod. What do they want?
Yeah, Mike Cloud. That's a great question, because I think different people want different things. And I'm not sure, and I don't want to speak for them. But what I can tell you is this: if for the conservatives that are watching out there, please understand that we have to take yes for an answer sometimes. And there is some folks out there that think Kevin McCarthy is going to do a good or even great job. There are others that are reticent, they're not sure. Okay, so if you don't think he's going to do a good job, we have a mechanism in place in the rules package, which will follow the speaker's vote, to remove him or any other speaker if they're not doing the job that we selected them to do, which means this is what's called a call on the chair. Before this, you had to take a majority of the the majority of the ruling party to have a call on the chair. It's a no confidence vote, Jack. We reduced that number down to 5 members of the Republican conference can call for a call on the chair. And you can rest assured all the Democrats are going to vote to remove any Republican speaker for the sheer chaos and power in the empowerment that it engenders to them. So that's 218, which is a majority. So if tomorrow or a week from now or a month from now, folks feel like Kevin McCarthy's not following through on his promises, we can simply remove him from office. So if you have that mechanism in place, what else are you fighting for?
And today, former President Trump urged the 20 holdouts to back McCarthy. Do you think this will help?
I don't think it will hurt. I know that, they're strong-willed, and conservatives are independent thinkers, and it's harder for us to unite folks that are politically right of center than they are politically left of center. They tend to march in lockstep with the oligarchy on that side of the aisle. So I think it will help. So let's run down a bit of a list, Jack, if you will. Half of the Freedom Caucus is supporting Kevin McCarthy for Speaker. Jim Jordan, who is getting votes for Speaker, is not voting for himself. He's urging people to not vote for him, but to vote for Kevin McCarthy for Speaker. Donald Trump, Newt Gingrich. You have folks like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't think even Marjorie's fiercest critics don't call her a Republican in name only. She's one of the fiercest conservatives in the chamber. She's voting for Kevin McCarthy because, Jack, politics is the art of the possible. We have a 222-member conference, very diverse ideologically. There are some folks, it's hard to put an exact number, on kind of the other side of the ideological Republican spectrum that are saying that they will not vote for anyone but Kevin McCarthy, 20 or 30 of them. So you reach impasse. You can't give everybody what they want. So what do we call that dirty word in DC? Sometimes you compromise.
So does this boost Democrats?
I don't think there's a shadow of a doubt it boosts the Democrats. Of course it does. They are mocking us. The 212 of them are voting in lockstep. They are laughing. The mainstream media, I believe, will also say, look at these dysfunctional Republicans. They cannot rule. They cannot govern. And we have a rules package that is unprecedented in its decentralization of power. And not to get into the weeds, because there's a lot of inside baseball, but we negotiated a 72-hour rule. So any large major bill has to have 72 hours for us to actually digest it and read it and not rush to a vote. That's a good change. We have germaneness, where we have a one subject rule, which is, a major bill has to have one major subject. It can't have multiple, what we call a Christmas tree legislatively. And again, it can't be de-emphasized that rule of having 5 members being able to be empowered to have a call in a chair is really something that, again, sometimes you have to take yes for an answer.
Is that the first time that rule's been in place?
To my knowledge, to the 5-person rule. I think historically it was a bit different, but nobody would ever dare have a call on the chair, years ago. And politics, as evolves and it changes quite a bit. But I'm very happy with the rules package that we have. And I think we need to understand that 10, 5, or 20 can't dictate to the entire conference. So we have to listen to each other, be respectful. I don't like the infighting at all. I want it to end. And I want to fight socialism. And the way to do that is to get sworn in and then pass great legislation that puts the Democrats on the defensive. Hopefully they'll join us in passing some of this in the Senate. I doubt it. But then there'll be repercussions and the American people will decide who they want to govern come 2024.
And my last question to you actually is, as far as committee chair assignments, 3 North Texas members of Congress may very well, under a McCarthy speakership, become committee chairs. Does this put their chairmanships in jeopardy?
That's a great question. The way we select, and this is another reason why I like the rules package, the way we actually select committee chairs on the Republican conference, and we even select committees for all of our members, is through what's called a steering committee. And on the steering committee, Kevin McCarthy has 4 votes. Steve Scalise will have, I believe, 2 or 3 votes as the majority leader. The whip gets a vote. And then we have regional representatives from around the country. We have decentralized the power even more because that's one of the other things we wanted to see. So we created even more regional representatives. So it's about 33 to 35 votes now. And McCarthy only gets 4 of those. So that's another good thing to put this power in the hands of the membership. So I hope that doesn't, jeopardize North Texas's influence. And the quicker that we solve this issue, the better. It's okay. We had 1 day. We had, even if it's 2 days, but I don't want this, and I don't think it can drag on to 2 weeks, or God forbid, like in the 19th century, a couple of months, because then that really starts to endanger the country at large.
Congressman Pat Fallon of the 4th Congressional District here in North Texas, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Jack. God bless.